Hello everyone, welcome back to MEDICOS Hubs. So in this video, let's discuss a few topics related to radiology. So radiology is important in your first year MBBS. It's not like very depth, it's very superficial. It will be your Viva topic where you can easily score if you understand well. So let's get started. We have a few x-rays over here which we'll be discussing in this video. So it covers most of the topics in your first year. So first thing in radiology viva, what you have to answer, the way you have to answer is whether the x-ray is anterior posterior or posterior anterior. What is anterior posterior and what is posterior anterior? We call it AP view or PA view. So what is it? So AP view, in AP view, the x-rays are passed from anterior to posterior and then the x-ray is taken. It is vice versa in PA view. So first you have to say that the x-ray is AP view or PA view accordingly and start with your explanation. And the second thing is whether the x-ray is plain x-ray or special x-ray. Plain x-ray is taken in when the person is in normal position towards the x-ray apparatus. Special x-ray is taken when So special x-ray is taken when the person is asked to change in any of the positions accordingly as required and the x-ray is taken. So special x-ray is taken only in case of abdominal x-rays and not any other. Plain x-rays, usually most of the other x-rays excluding abdominal x-rays. So this one, the one that we are seeing over here, is a AP view x-ray, okay, and then it is a plain x-ray. What do we see? Which joint do we see over here? So wrist joint. And what type of a joint is wrist joint is the next question the examiner will ask you as soon as you tell wrist joint. So you need to state it's condylar type. So after stating about the joint, they might ask you to name all the bones you can see in this x-ray. So you can see radius, you can see ulna, and then you can see all the wrist joint bones, that is scaphoid, lunate, pisiform, trapezium, trapezoid, capitate, and hamate. Right, and you can also see phalanges over here. So metacarpal bones and phalanges also we can see. So next, the second one, we have the same x-ray but we have it in a lateral view. So even this is a plain x-ray. So that was one of the x-ray. And the next one we have, this is from head and neck. So again it is AP view and it is also plain x-ray, and the other one is lateral view. This is also a plain x-ray. So in this head and neck x-ray, they will ask us to say about the sinuses, like what are the sinuses you can see in this x-ray. So we can see frontal sinus, we can see ethmoidal sinus, we can see maxillary sinus, and we can see sphenoidal sinuses. So that is about the head and neck x-ray. So in the lateral view, they might ask us to point where we can see the external acoustic meatus, and also they will ask us to say about these vertebrae and spinal. What do you see over here? They might ask the spinous process. So the one more thing that they might ask us is the joint over here. So we can see atlanto-occipital joint and atlanto-axial joint over here, and this is all pivot type of joint. So that was about head and neck x-ray. So the next one is thorax. So very important thing you can see over here, you can identify easily whether it is anterior posterior or posterior anterior. How? You need to locate the clavicle bone and you need to see whether it is horizontal or oblique. If the clavicle bone is horizontal, then it is AP view. If it is oblique, then it is PA view. So that's one feature where you can identify whether the X-ray is AP or PA view. So this one, it is barium solo. So it's you can see over here, the clavicle is horizontal, so it is AP view. It is plain X-ray, and again barium solo. So one more thing. So the one more thing the examiner might ask is, why barium? What made us to use barium over here? So barium is a radiopaque substance, and it is because of its high molecular weight. It has high molecular weight, and barium sulfate is absolutely harmless to your body. Like, it's not absorbed by the GIT, and it is only a suspension or an emulsion. It is not soluble in water. So that is what made us use barium, because it's harmless, right? So yeah, you can see barium salt, you can see esophagus over here. Over here also you can see esophagus. So that was about this X-ray. So now the very interesting part. Now you have to tell me whether this X-ray is AP or PA. So you can see the clavicle is not horizontal. It is oblique, right? So what it is? What does this mean when the clavicle is oblique? It is PA view. So this X-ray is PA view. Again, it's a plain X-ray. The same thing we can see esophagus. It's a barium soloca X-ray. So yeah, one more thing. What does this mean? Which condition is this? Achalasia cardia. So coming to pelvis, we have our hip joint over here, right? So what is this? What is happening in this X-ray? Before you say anything, please say about the view. So this is AP view, right? And what is happening over here? This kind of X-ray is called hysterosalpingogram. This is used to check the patency of fallopian tube. A dye is injected and it starts spreading all through the fallopian tubes, and we can check for any patency in the fallopian tube. So that is what we can see in this X-ray. So the other one, we have our elbow joint. Okay, so this is AP view. It's a plain X-ray, and as I said, we can see our elbow joint. This is humerus bone, radius, and ulna. So what type of a joint is elbow joint? This is the question most of the examiners ask. So it is hinge joint for sure. So yeah, the next one. So now this is a special kind of X-ray. It's not plain X-ray, as I stated in the initial part of the video, what is plain and what is special, why it is called special and all. So this is a special X-ray of the abdomen, and they have used barium again. So we call it barium meal. What do we check in this? We check the entire GIT, that's gastrointestinal tract. As you can see here, we can see the intestine and also the stomach in this X-ray. So next we have again our hip joint. So we will see whether this is, yeah. So this X-ray is AP view and it's plain X-ray. We can see hip joint over here. And there's one more thing, yeah, before I tell that, what type of a joint is hip joint? It's ball and socket type. So what are the bones we can see over here? The hip bone, the femur, head and neck of the femur. We can also see sacrum over here, and also the coccyx. So ask us, what is Shenton's line? So we can tell the line from this, that is obturator foramen. So from the medial part of the obturator foramen till the lesser trochanter of the humerus, the inverted U-shaped line is Shenton's line. So after we say this, immediately they're going to ask you, what is the significance of this line? So what you got to tell? So we can detect whether the hip joint is in normal and proper position. If there is any deviation, or so when the inverted U, which we state as Shenton's line, is not proper, we can make out that there will be some sort of deviation in the ball and socket joint, that is the hip joint. So we can make that out, that there might be any dislocation which can be detected using Shenton's line. So that was about. So the next one, in this X-ray, you can see dislocation of hip joint, and this is the normal one, and here you can see the dislocation. So coming to the next, this is again AP view, plain X-ray. What joint is this? Knee joint. What type of joint is knee joint? It's hinge joint. Knee joint and elbow joint both are hinge variety of joints. So this is lateral view. You can see patella, you can see femur, you can see both the condyles of femur, and you can see tibia and fibula over here in this X-ray. So the next one, we have thorax head and neck X-ray. So make it very sure to check for the clavicle bone. It is horizontal, so it is AP view, it's a plain X-ray. They will ask you what type of a joint is this. So it's pivot joint. Please remember all the types of joints before entering radiology Viva exam, which is very important to know about the joints. Otherwise, you're going to have a really bad time. Okay, so the next one, again, we have, see, it's horizontal. It's just AP view, plain X-ray. What type of joint you can see? Shoulder joint, elbow joint also you can see. So this is ball and socket. This is hinge variety. What are the bones you can see? We can see scapula. We can see clavicle. We can see humerus. We can also see ulna and radius. Right? Done. Okay. So in this, yeah. So this is AP view, plain X-ray. You can also name, they might ask you to name all the bones, so be careful with that. Don't get confused with these especially. And also joints are also important here, metacarpocarpal joints, wrist joint and all that. Yeah, this is Waters view. This is used especially to look for the sinuses, and you can also they might ask you to name the sinus, especially in this one. So frontal, ethmoidal, maxillary, and sphenoidal at the sides. So yeah, that was it. So the last one, this is AP view and this is lateral view. And what type of X-ray is this? This is plain X-ray, and we can see ankle joints. What type of a joint is ankle joint? It's plain joint, plain type of joint. And what are the bones that we can see over here? Tibia, fibula, and in the lateral view, they might ask us to name all these bones: thallus, cuneiform, calcaneum, and then we can see cuboid, navicular, and then the three cuneiforms will be there in the front. So you have to name all that carefully. So that was about radiology, and all the best for your Viva, whoever was watching it. Thank you for watching. Hope it was helpful for you. Like,